Hello? Anybody there? I think you are. Good morning. Good morning. Lovely and sunny morning here, but still blowing a hoolie. I think it is most places at this weekend, which is a great shame considering it's supposed to be the summer. But when we look back at this, we'll think, well, do you know, we will have even take some of this when it's cold and horrible and whatever. So today, as promised, I decided a little while ago to treat myself very early, because it's not till next month, for my birthday. And I thought I would show you it. You may have heard of it. It's called the Spellbinders Betterpress letterpress system. Easy to say for some. And it's just something that I wanted to try. I can get them. I do have a few in stock actually. So they are available over on the website under the maximumcrafts.com bit and under the all things YouTube, all YouTube live products, if you're interested. But I thought I'd really show you what it's all about because it's a bit different. And do you know what? In the craft world just at the moment, it's quite difficult to get things that are different. You may agree with me. So I thought I'd show you what you get, and then I'd show you what it does and why I'm quite in love with it. Now, it might be something that you think, gosh, I wouldn't be bothered with that. But it might be something that you think, oh, something refreshing, which is what I thought. So what is it? It is not a machine, okay? It is a plate as such, like this, that you have to use with a manual die cutting machine. So you have to have, it's specifically made, of course it would be, to go with the Spellbinders machines, the platinum machines, but it can be used with the Kaleido if you have it, or the Big Shot, all the others that fit this sort of size plate. So the A5 size type of plate with what they call a wide mouth. I have not used it on my electric machines. To be honest, my electric machines are so new that I daren't. If I had an older one, like one of the GoPress ones, you may find that that would take it because it does take the wider mouth, so to speak. But it is recommended that it goes with a manual machine. So really, a manual machine it should be. Okay. So what do you get when you get it? So the good thing I thought about it was that you get absolutely everything to be able to start off with. And as always, there are quite a few and coming more and more of the plates that you can use in order to create different things. And I will try and keep an eye out on questions because I think it might be something like you might want to ask a few questions for it as well. So what do you get? Let's take this out of the way. So this is what you get. You get your plate. So let's just take that to one side. So you get your plate. You get some shims which go underneath your plate or not, as the case may be. So basically, everybody, as we know's machine is different. And so they've given you 3 of these plastic shims to put underneath this part, which they call the chase. I don't know why. I really don't know why. It's a heavy magnetic cutting board, not cutting board, board. You don't cut onto it. Don't know what it's made of, but it's very strong magnetic. So it comes with this. You pop your shims in place and then you pop your chase down onto there. And then you've got this clear lining up and holding thing with very strong magnet pieces in each of the corners. So if you listen, it catches onto my magnet. And then it's kind of bouncy. If you put it that way, you can see that it's sort of bouncy. It also comes with some special ink. Now, the ink is, I think, made by Ranger, if I recall rightly. It is waterproof and a permanent ink, so it's along the lines of an archival ink. I have used other inks. Some of them have bled badly and some of them have been okay. But it does come with this little ink. So again, you've got everything that you want there. So it comes with that. It comes with what they call Best Ever Craft tape, which is a removable tape. And so it sort of positions everything. I'm sure that you can use other tape for this. I'm usually use the 3M one, so I'm sure that that's absolutely fine as well, but that comes with that as well. It comes with a pack. Now, it isn't this particular one, but it's as good as this one. The pack that it comes with, it has 25 sheets, but they are all different colours. So you've got the grey, the porcelain, and the bisque, whatever. This one is porcelain, which is the one that I would prefer to use. And of course, it comes with your first plate that you might like to try, which is this one, which is a flower with a couple of sentiments. But as I said, there are loads of other flowers and plates that you can use. Can you use other plates? Well, I think you might be able to use the stamp cut plates, which come from Creative Expressions. But actually, you can't really use any other plates in terms of your ordinary die cutting, because this is not a die cutting machine. Okay, so this is very heavy metal, and it seems to be quite a different metal than we're used to. It's sort of like a matte metal, if you could call it that. It doesn't shine in any shape or form. And you ink the actual plate. Okay, it does stain. And they do recommend their own cleaner, which is the archival ink cleaner, which I did purchase. However, I did find that Cheap and Cheerful, not that this is particularly a cheap and cheerful one, but nevertheless, good old hand sanitizer works every time, and equally as well, I have to say. So in terms of cheapness, that is what I would go for, is a hand sanitizer to clean both the plates and the base here, because I found, or I should say the chase, let's get it right. I found that that inked and stained quite quickly, so do be careful of that. You do need to clear it off quite quickly. Although, of course, even if you didn't clean it off, it doesn't deter from the finished product. So that's what you get all ready to go. And I'm going to show you how you pop that together. But what is it that's different? What is it that we're trying to achieve? So, okay, what we're trying to achieve is a card which is similar to a letterpress. And a letterpress, we would have done that with our embossing folders and that type of thing, with the brayer, so that we get ink evenly onto the embossing folder. Then we would put it in and we would press it down and all this sort of thing. So it's quite possible to do, but with this, because of the special paper, I'll go on to the paper in a second, it actually, I don't know, it doesn't deboss into it. And to be absolutely honest, you've really got to see it for yourself. But it just, you've got the texture because the actual image is sunk into the card. The card is called cotton card, or over here we call it rag card. And it is expensive. I have to admit, it is expensive. I have, however, used watercolor card and found that that has been a fairly good substitute. It isn't as good as this, I have to agree, because this is somehow soft. I don't know how to explain that either, but it's kind of like very thick and sort of squashy. So almost like a handmade paper, but gives a beautiful effect. It doesn't work very well at all with super smooth and smooth type card, because there's no bite to it, no texture to it. So you do need something like a watercolor card, or this card, obviously, which you will get in this bit here anyway, which is by far the better finish. It's very much a considered purchase. It's very much a treat to yourself for something a little bit different. and I felt I was worth it. So that's why I went for it. So I'm going to show you in all its glory what we have to do. So we have here the A2 size. Now this is in America. I do realize that their sizes. So an A2 size, which you can find if I pop that there, that will cover that nicely. And you've also got A7 size, which is a different size paper, which you can buy as well. You can also buy the A4 size, but I've actually found that you really wouldn't need that. I really don't think you would. But you can get both of those sizes. Okay, so if we take our plate that comes with it, you can roughly see that it is 3 flowers with some leaves and whatever. And we're looking at this smaller, the A2 rectangle there. So wherever we place onto this magnetic chase plate, we will see that that will stay there, and I can put it at any angle that I wish and realize that if I push it like that, this is over my black line, so that bit will not be on my finished piece of card. Okay, so we'll pop it so that we are, let's see, I think about there. And then I'm going to take one of my sentiments, make sure I've got it round the right way, which is like that, and I'm going to pop that down in the corner, and I know that anything that's in my rectangle here with A2 size will be within my plate, my finished article. Okay, so then I'm going to undo this piece of paper, and I'm going to then attach my piece of card to my clear plate that goes on the top. So that's using the best ever, as they like to call it, their yellow tape that comes with it. And if I just bring this plate in, you'll see that you've got writing here that's round the right way, and A2 and A7. I'm going to turn it over so I can see what I'm doing, and I'm going to attach my piece of card between all those little marks here so that I know that that is in exactly the right place. So let's just pop that over again. I'm going to be the most frugal person you have ever been with a bit of tape, and just attach that using the markers, whoops, that are on the plate, on the perspex bit. Look at this, how frugal can you get? It's really strong tape, so it does really stick, but and can be used quite a few times as well. So I think you can get the tape still separately, but I haven't done that. So that's all ready to go. So if you put it on the side where the words are the other way round, so that's the wrong way round, because that's then going to go over and straight down onto your chase plate. So I'm going to pop that to one side, and we're going to ink up our plate. Now, the one thing I would say is different about this is the way that you ink it up. Okay, so it's sort of like a foiling machine, except obviously there's nothing, I don't plug anything in, nothing in whatsoever. So it's sort of like the bottom of the glimmer plate foiling machine. Let's see, can you use embossing folders? No. What mediums can you color with? I have found that well, to be honest with you, I'll show you one I've done earlier in a minute. The watercolor inks are by far the best. I found that Copic markers, alcohol markers, bleed too much on the paper. So you could use it, but you'd have to be very, very careful. And also, of course, hi Stacey. Yes, this is the Betterpress. Lovely to have you here. Yeah, so I'm just playing. The other way of doing it is, I'll show you some samples in a minute, but is doing with some actual colour behind first. So actually colouring your piece of card first. And I'll show you what I mean in a minute. So let's put the ink on. Now this is a bit different, okay? So as I said, ordinarily, if we were putting something on like this, we would be patting it down, would we not? Yeah, that's how we would apply our ink. Sometimes we would actually wipe it like so, and that will get on a certain amount. But I found the best way of putting it on is to pop it down and twist. So it's sort of like I'm putting a fair amount of pressure on, to be honest, and I'm trying not to get it absolutely everywhere, but invariably I will. But that's the sort of action that I'm putting onto my card, onto my plate rather. I'm pushing down and I'm twisting so that I'm getting the ink into all of the little nooks and crannies, because one of the beauties of the Betterpress is that the plates are mighty detailed with the thinnest of lines. Okay, so I'm popping that down on there. I'm going to put the ink back on, lid back on, sorry. I'm then going to pop this plate on, obviously with my piece of paper up underneath, so now I can read the writing again. Popping it onto my really strong magnets, top and bottom, so that now it's in place. I'm bringing in my manual die cutting machine, which, as I said, in this case is the Spellbinder Platinum 6. So now hold on to your hat, because you're going to feel a bit seasick now, because it will make the camera move, I'm afraid. So it can be with any manual die cutting machine. Okay, so if you've got a big shot, you're fine. Any other die cutting machine. Now you can see, well, hopefully you could see, I could easily talk. I didn't have to do anything, but I just had to keep running this through without sort of stopping, no problem whatsoever. Pick it up, and then when I bring that over, just love this. Wait a minute, I'm going to clean this off. I'm going to put a little blob, good old that, and then we'll have a look what I've done. I get into the habit of doing this straight away, because I find that if I don't, I'm then going to get marks, and I really don't want marks, but there's already a few marks on there where I didn't use it first. I'm using microfiber cloth, and I'm just wiping that off. Paper is not, like a kitchen towel like you'd usually use, just disintegrates and gets possibly the fibres amongst it. So I just use 2 of those for £1 from Poundland or Tesco's or wherever. Pop it into the washing machine and it's done and dusted again. Okay, so let's put my platform, or whatever you might call it, over to one side. Let me see. Oh, I wish I could really show you, because you really have to see this in all its glory. Hold on. And on, turning round, take all my little bits of paper off. Now, so what have we achieved? Unfortunately, quite likely, difficult for you to see, but hopefully, let's bring the camera down so that you can see a bit more. So what I've achieved is, not only have I popped that onto my, stamped it, I suppose you could say, letterpress, but if in real life you're there, you can feel that this is actually debossed into the card. I mean, obviously there's no thickness to it. I haven't changed the thickness in any shape or form. I think you'd agree that this is possibly one of the crispest and finest sentiments that you ever did see. So it's like stamping, but it's very, very fine lines instead. Okay, so I'm just going to very quickly, she says, hopefully show you how I would colour this. So I would get some distress reinkers, This one is spun sugar. Grab myself a fine paintbrush. It's a paintbrush. Oh lordy. And pick up some of my Distress Reinker, and then simply, let's get that. Is a brand new one, so let's get that actually working properly. And then I would just bring that out from the center like I would do any other. Turn it around a little bit. Now, this is the way that you would do it if you wanted to, but I'm going to show you some of the other ways in just a second. But now I've got it in my hands. So it's ideal for those who, as I said, want something different, but it's also ideal if you are a stamper, that you enjoy your stamping, but you want something a little different to show. If you're a die cutter, this is, and you only like die cutting, this isn't your cup of tea, or probably not your cup of tea, but I just wanted something completely different. And so you can see as I'm going along what sort of difference that is going to make. Okay. Jill, nice effect, but it seems expensive. It is expensive, I agree. Yeah, it's not your cheapest thing by any means. And it's not for everybody. It's really not for everybody. But I like to look at different things on the market. Can't keep on looking at the same old thing. And for me, I like to play. I like to play. But yes, I agree. The price of it is off-putting. But the design of it is rather yummy. Anyway, that's that one. Now, let me show you what I did for other things. So you can obviously get, this is one I finished off, so you can obviously get different words to go with it. So you can get sort of like this little die set. This one is called A Little Message Sentiments. So you've got all of the separate little sentiments, and you've got the cutting outs with it. But you can obviously put them straight onto your card, so making up something a bit different like that. You have also got, let's bring these things in, hold on a second. So that's another one that I've done with just the basic one here. Then there are various different die sets that you can get. And there's this one, which is obviously butterflies. So this one is called Butterfly Swell. So you've got 2 dies and 2 plates amongst this. So you stamp out all of your plates in one, okay? And then you've got the sentiment separately. And then you've got a die cut for the sentiment and a die cut for the butterflies, which will cut them out all individually. So subsequently, if I stamped them like this, they would all be in one swirl. But if I then cut them out with my die that comes with it, they would all be cut out absolutely individually. So you could make that your base card, colour your butterflies in on another piece, and then cut them out individually and pop them on top. So can we make them look a bit different without having to colour them all? Yeah, I think we can. So I simply did with this one, I got some Distress Oxide. I pushed that, this Distress Oxide was in Picked Raspberry, and I just coloured it in, blended it in onto my card. So you can see the card took that very easily. And then I was just able to do my stamping right on top. So with a bit of black card around the outside, that would be, again, a lovely just finish. Again, a lot of it is that it's the texture that you can feel when you actually have got it. Then I've taken a different step here. So I have coloured the whole of the card. So I've blended in a couple of colours, which were the picked raspberry again and the lemonade, squeezed lemonade, I think, is it? Or something lemonade. I think it's squeezed. Blended those in and just simply stamped on top. I could, of course, then take some of the colour out. So that one would work as well. So that's a different stamp altogether. And then this one is just partly coloured, but that sort of thing done with distress inks as well. We've also got the sentiments. So these are the Always and Forever sentiment strips. You can see I really treated myself, didn't I? With all of the things like happy birthday and that sort of thing. Let me just get them to show you them when they've been cut. Oh, so here is a selection. Let me just show you on here. So you can see how they stamp out. This is one of your sentiments from earlier, but these are just the strips. And again, they actually are very, very thin, but they actually, so hard to see, they actually push into the special paper. But if you used watercolor paper, you would be fine with that. So that's your sentiments. There are other plates, as I said, and this one I'm just going to finish off for you. Now this, I'm afraid to say, I completely broke the card that it comes with. So this one is called Butterfly Garden. Now this is a bigger set. So this comes in 2 pieces so that we can colour onto this piece, stamp onto this piece, and then this can be cut out. It can either be done with it, so you've got completely flat, or it can be done separately. And then, and this is where I actually broke it to pieces, as you can see, you've got the dies that cut out for your sentiment. So let me just show you what I did with that one and how that one's going to be finished. So I've got a 5x7 card, and I've cut myself out a piece of black card because with the black ink that looks quite nice, and that is how my stamp will go. Okay, so it goes together like that. That is using distress ink, and I've used seedless, or distress ink re-ink, as I should say. I've used, for the flowers, I've used seedless preserves, and for the leaves I've used bundled sage. This is actually on a larger piece of the card, so one of the A7 pieces. So I've simply done that, and I'm going to pop that down onto there as we're speaking. It's definitely a considered purchase, most definitely. But it's good to see all the things. I don't know about you, but I've got a glimmer plate which I really must use because I just don't these days, and I must use that. So let's just pop that onto there. I'm going to put that straight onto my black piece. Just hold that into position for a second or two. And that's our finished piece, which then goes onto there. Now we could pop that onto foam, but I'm not going to put that bit. I'm going to put my sentiment onto foam. So I'm just going to put that straight onto my top folding card. Got it. The fold is at the top for this. That's the way around that I wanted it to go. Oh, I don't think you can hear that, but we've got Spitfires going ahead. Do you know what? I've just put that one upside down, haven't I? Have I got a chance to turn that over? Yeah. Plan B, put a bit more glue on there. Nicer pattern on there. That's better. I don't think there's well, there is slightly a right and a wrong way, but I wanted my butterfly to go in there properly. So this piece, I just think that's beautiful. I simply stamp that out onto a smaller piece and then cut it out with just one die cut. You can cut these out separately so that you can have this sitting prouder and the butterfly sitting prouder, and that is going to fit into there, but it's got to have some foam on. So I'm just going to pop that into place as well. I have to say, I think this particular one is my favourite, but I do also like the sentiments as well. So yes, I treated myself, and no, it might not be what you want to treat yourself with. We all have something different. We all have things that we like, and not everybody these days have got a manual machine, to be honest. Many of us have got the electric machines, and they are not going to be compatible with this. I'm just going to put that over that block. You see what I mean about that the butterfly needed to go up there? That's with the same colour, by the way. I just concentrated it with that one. So that's still Seedless Preserves. And instead of watering it down, which I did for these, I decided to just make that one a little bit darker so it stood out. I love that. So I'm pleased I bought my machine. And thank you just for watching and telling me all sorts of things about it. If you have got any, do come and show us and let us see. If you do treat yourself to it, let's have a look. If anyone does treat themselves to it, I'm going to be doing a workshop with Betterpress, so you're more than welcome to come along to that. Details would be sent with you with your actual machine, so I will let you know when that is. Obviously that's completely free, so that's just to help you run through a few more things. Yeah, I think it does give a professional finish. It's really difficult for you to be able to see, and a lot of it is the touch of it, because it's a very posh finish. We don't all do the posh though, do we? But it's still very pretty, very pretty. So that is our Betterpress. All right, so again, something for you to see, something new in the industry. Not completely new, because I have had things like that before. Someone was telling me that years ago there used to be one from We Are Memory Makers, or We Are, they call themselves something different now. I think they used to be called We Are Memory Makers, and now they're called We're Makers or something. I don't know, but that's what I've done for you for today. So now let me tell you, I am going to be back with you. I will be here on Wednesday, but I'm not here in person. I've done a video for you. It is a new range that I'm bringing to you, but it is on a limited stock. Okay, so once it's gone, it will be gone, because I want to just try the water and see what we think of it. It's very reasonably priced, less than £10, much less than £10, so you cannot go wrong for that. And it will be available from 6 o'clock UK time on Wednesday, this Wednesday, which is the 19th, I think, isn't it, or something? Yeah, the 19th at 6 o'clock. So as I said, it won't be a live thing. So when I put the link up over on the Facebook group page, it'll come apparent that it will say private video if you go straight to that link, or video not available. But come 6 o'clock exactly, it will be there. So I know lots of you sit and wait for a sort of 10 minutes beforehand and join in and have a chat with each other normally, which is lovely. But when it's a video like that, I'm afraid you can't. It just will come on at 6 o'clock so that you can watch it. And obviously the items that I use on that day will be available from 6 o'clock over on the maximumcrafts.com website under all things on the YouTube or something like that. I feel I've done it like that so that it comes up a bit quicker. So I'm looking forward to showing you that. I do hope you can join me then. I will be back otherwise on next Sunday at 11 o'clock, and we'll be back to a Christmassy range then. I'm trying to mix and match so that we're not doing all Christmas and we're not doing all non-Christmas, trying to give you a nice selection. So when you come back next Sunday at 11 o'clock, it will be all onto Christmas again. So thank you in the meantime so much for joining me. Lovely to have you here. Have a great rest of the weekend, and I will catch up with you as soon as possible, having a couple of days off, but I'll be back to wrapping and packing as soon as I possibly can. Okay, so take care. Thank you for joining me. Bye. Oh, don't forget, like down here somewhere, maybe here, there, wherever it is. Thank you. Bye.